I didn't get to be 99 years old by being the smartest guy in the room. I didn't become a billionaire by picking the perfect stocks or timing the market. I did it by spending more than 70 years identifying the most common ways that brilliant people become absolute world-class idiots. You want to know the difference between a long, successful life and one of quiet desperation? It's not genius. It's not hustle. It's not some secret morning routine. The difference is this: I stopped letting my own brain lie to me. Everyone out there is looking for an edge, a life hack, the next big thing. They read books on what to do. They listen to podcasts on what to add to their lives. That's the great mistake. That is the single biggest reason most people end up disappointed, broke, or both. The secret to winning isn't about what you do. It's about what you consistently, ruthlessly avoid doing. There is a list, a short list of psychological tricks that your own mind uses against you, day in and day out. They are ancient, they are powerful, and they are the reason smart people make catastrophic mistakes. I have watched men with genius-level IQs destroy their careers, their fortunes, their families, because they were blind to one or two of these simple, primitive forces. These forces will cost you decades of your life. They will cost you millions of dollars. They are the invisible chains that keep you from the life you think you're working toward. Today, I'm giving you that list, 7 of the most powerful tricks that control your life. And here's the stakes. If you recognize just 3 of these running your life right now, you are already 10 years behind where you could be. So listen closely. The first psychological trick that is ruining your life is this: you are outsourcing your thinking to the crowd. This is called social proof, and it is the most efficient way to be wrong in the history of mankind. You see a stock going up, and you feel a pull to buy it. You see a popular opinion on the news, and you feel an urge to adopt it. You see everyone else living a certain way, and you assume it must be the right way. This is not thinking. This is biological programming. It's the instinct of a herd animal, and it will lead you straight off a cliff. This approach is intellectual suicide. Completely and utterly wrong. It makes me sick to my stomach to watch it happen over and over again. Me? When I see a crowd of people rushing enthusiastically toward an idea, I make it a point to walk in the opposite direction. I don't assume they're right. I assume they're caught in a feedback loop of collective delusion. My first question is never, why are they all doing this? My first question is, what crucial thing are they all missing? History is just one long story of crowds being spectacularly wrong. Think about the dot-com bubble in the late 90 seconds. People with no business knowledge were quitting their jobs to day trade stocks with no revenue, no profits, and no plan. Why? Because their neighbor was doing it. Because the news said it was a new paradigm. They were all participating in a shared hallucination, and it ended in financial ruin for millions. Or go back further, the South Sea bubble in the 1,720 seconds. Even Sir Isaac Newton, one of the most brilliant minds who ever lived, got sucked in. He bought, sold for a profit, then watched his friends get richer, and jumped back in at the top, losing a fortune. He later said, "I can calculate the motion of heavenly bodies, but not the madness of people." He fell for social proof. And what are you doing? You spend 3 weeks researching which $50 toaster to buy, reading every review, comparing every feature. But you'll take $10,000 hard-earned money and throw it at some meme stock or cryptocurrency because you saw a bunch of anonymous people on the internet posting rocket emojis. It's absolute madness. You're trusting the financial advice of a faceless, witless mob over your own rational thought. Here's the rule. It's a simple test. Before you make any significant decision, an investment, a career change, adopting a strong belief, ask yourself this: could I defend this decision with rational arguments? If I were the only person on earth who believed it, if your entire case rests on the fact that lots of other people are doing it, you don't have a case. You have an impulse. Here's your homework. For the next 30 days, I want you to find one popular belief that you hold and force yourself to argue passionately for the other side. Not to convince yourself, but to prove that you understand the counter-argument better than the people who actually hold it. This will break the spell of the crowd. The second psychological trick. You are blindly obeying authority figures. This is the authority misinfluence tendency. From the time we are children, we are taught to listen to the teacher, the doctor, the expert, and most of the time, that's a useful shortcut. But in the modern world, it's a trap. It's a way for you to turn off your brain and let someone else do the driving, often right into a ditch. Never going to work. Horrible strategy. The world is full of people in suits who have no idea what they're talking about. My approach is different. I was taught to revere knowledge, not titles. A person's argument is what matters, not their position. When an expert tells me something, my first instinct isn't to believe them. It's to ask, what are their incentives? How do they know what they know? What are the counter-arguments they aren't telling me? I assume they might be wrong. The world of finance is a graveyard of fortunes lost by people who trusted the experts. Look at Bernie Madoff. He wasn't some back-alley con man. He was the former chairman of the NASDAQ. He was a pillar of the financial community. He had every credential you could imagine. And for decades, people handed him their life savings without asking a single hard question. Why? Because he was an authority. They outsourced their diligence to his title, and he wiped them out. Or think about long-term capital management in 1998. It was a hedge fund run by two Nobel Prize-winning economists, the smartest guys in the room. They created a formula they said made risk obsolete. They were the ultimate authorities. They raised billions and then went broke in a matter of weeks, nearly taking the entire global financial system with them. You do this on a smaller scale every single day. You believe a headline because it's from a famous newspaper. You take medical advice from a celebrity. You buy a product because an influencer with millions of followers recommended it. You are mistaking the symbols of credibility for credibility itself. It's like eating the menu instead of the meal. Here is your rule. Separate the argument from the person making it. Write down the core claim. Now pretend that claim was made by your idiot neighbor, the one who sets his lawn on fire every summer. Does the argument still sound smart? Does it still hold up? If it only sounds intelligent because of the fancy suit or the impressive title attached to it, then it's a weak argument. Your assignment is this. The next time you hear an expert make a bold prediction, write it down. Put it on your calendar for 1 year from now. When the reminder pops up, check to see if they were right. After you do this a few times, you will develop a healthy and very profitable skepticism of authority. The third psychological trick, you are a slave to your past decisions. This is the commitment and consistency tendency. Once we make a decision or state a belief, our brain hates to admit it was wrong, so we stick with it. We double down on it. We pour good money after bad, good time after bad, all to avoid the simple, private pain of admitting, I made a mistake. This tendency makes cowards and fools of us all. This is a terrible way to live. It's like trying to drive forward by only looking in the rearview mirror. I operate on a simple principle. My loyalty is to reality, not to my past self. I don't care what I thought yesterday. I only care about what the facts are today. If the facts change, I change my mind. What do you do? I don't give a damn what anyone thinks. Admitting I was wrong isn't a sign of weakness. It's a sign that I'm smarter today than I was yesterday. History is filled with monumental disasters caused by this simple tendency. Generals who kept sending soldiers into a losing battle because they couldn't admit the strategy had failed. CEOs who poured billions into a failing product line because it was their pet project. They become prisoners of their own initial decisions. On a personal level, you see it everywhere. The person who stays in a terrible job for years because they've invested so much time in it. The investor who holds a losing stock all the way down to zero, saying it has to come back because selling would mean admitting they made a bad pick. They're not making a financial decision anymore. They're making an emotional one. They're trying to protect their ego. And you're doing it right now. There is a project, a relationship, a belief in your life that you know is wrong. You know it's a dead end, but you keep going. Why? Because you've already put in so much effort. You've told people about it. To stop now would be to admit defeat. You are choosing to fail slowly rather than succeed in a new direction. It is the definition of irrationality. Here's the simple test. For any major commitment in your life, ask this question. Knowing what I know now, if I were not already involved in this, would I start it today? If the answer is no, then you have your answer. The past is irrelevant. The sunk costs are gone. Your next move should be based on the future, not on justifying the past. Your homework: identify one thing in your life, a subscription, a project, a commitment that you are continuing out of sheer inertia, and kill it today, not tomorrow. The feeling of liberation will be so powerful, you'll start hunting for more things to quit. The fourth trick: you are easily manipulated by the things you like and love. This is the liking and loving tendency. We are wired to agree with people we like. We ignore the flaws of those we admire. We are suckers for flattery. A charming salesman, a charismatic leader, a beautiful face. They can all bypass the rational part of your brain and get you to do things that are directly against your own self-interest. This is a fatal flaw. It's a backdoor into your mind, and the world is full of people who are experts at picking that lock. My defense is simple. I deliberately separate the person from the proposal. I don't care how much I like someone. I don't care how charming they are. I only care about the merits of the idea they are presenting. I apply a filter of objective analysis, especially when dealing with people I naturally like and admire. The most tragic examples of this are cults. Think of Jim Jones and the People's Temple. He was charismatic, beloved by his followers. They liked him so much they ignored all the warning signs, all the abuse. They followed him to a jungle in Guyana, and ultimately to their deaths. They drank the poison not because it was a rational idea, but because the person they loved told them to. On a less dramatic scale, this is the principle behind almost every sales technique. The salesman finds common ground with you, compliments you, makes you like him. By the time he presents the offer, you're not evaluating the product anymore. You're trying not to disappoint your new friend. You fall for this constantly. You agree with your friend's terrible business idea because you don't want to hurt their feelings. You vote for a politician based on whether they seem like someone you'd want to have a beer with, rather than on the quality of their policies. You overpay for a product because the person selling it was so nice. You are letting your social instincts override your financial and logical instincts. Here's the rule. Before you agree to anything proposed by someone you like, run it through the despised person test. Ask yourself, would I agree to this exact same proposal if it came from the mouth of someone I can't stand? If the answer is no, then you are being influenced by liking, not by logic. You need to reconsider your assignment. The next time someone tries to sell you something, ignore everything they say about themselves, their family, or any personal connection. Focus only on the numbers and the facts of the deal. Treat it as an anonymous transaction. See how different the proposal looks. The fifth psychological trick. You completely misunderstand what drives people. This is the most important one. Incentive caused bias. If you want to understand why people do what they do, you cannot listen to what they say. You cannot analyze their stated philosophy. You must look at their incentives. Show me the incentive, and I will show you the outcome. It is the most reliable rule in human affairs, and almost everyone ignores it. To ignore incentives is to be willfully blind. It's like trying to understand physics without understanding gravity. My entire life, both in business and in understanding the world, has been built on this principle. Before I analyze any situation, I ask one question first. Who gets what? How is everyone getting paid? If you understand the incentive structure, the seemingly crazy behavior of people and institutions becomes perfectly logical. The history of business is a monument to this bias. Look at the Wells Fargo scandal. For years, bank employees opened millions of fake accounts in customers' names. Were these thousands of people all just inherently evil? No, the incentive system was the problem. The bank offered huge bonuses to employees for opening new accounts and fired those who didn't meet impossible quotas. The system didn't just encourage fraud, it demanded it. The outcome was inevitable. Or consider the world of medicine. Why do some surgeons recommend surgery far more often than others? It might be because they truly believe it's the best option. Or it might be because they get paid a lot more for performing a surgery than for recommending physical therapy. The incentive doesn't make them bad people, but it powerfully biases their judgment. You fail to see this every day. You wonder why your financial advisor is pushing you into a high-fee mutual fund. You don't look at his compensation structure, which pays him a huge commission for that exact fund. You wonder why the media reports news in a sensationalist, fear-mongering way. You don't consider that their incentive is to get clicks and eyeballs, not to provide nuanced, balanced information. You are looking at the surface-level actions while being completely oblivious to the powerful currents of incentive running underneath. Here's your rule. Never ever trust someone's opinion when their paycheck depends on them holding that opinion. Always assume that people will act in their own rational self-interest, as defined by their incentives. This isn't cynical, it's realistic, and it will save you from a world of hurt. Your homework is simple. Take the biggest problem in your life or your work right now. Stop thinking about the personalities involved. Instead, map out the incentive structure for every single person. Who benefits if the problem continues? Who benefits if it's solved? The answer will become blindingly clear. The sixth trick. You cannot tolerate uncertainty. Your brain craves closure. It hates doubt. This is the doubt avoidance tendency. To escape the discomfort of not knowing, you will jump to a conclusion, any conclusion, far too quickly. This makes you a terrible investor, a poor strategist, and an easy mark for anyone selling simple answers to complex problems. This is a recipe for disaster. Rushing to a decision is almost always worse than waiting for more information. I'm perfectly comfortable with saying, I don't know. In fact, I'd say a huge part of my success comes from my ability to sit with a problem for a long, long time without forming an opinion. I just keep collecting information. Most people can't do that. The mental itch of an unanswered question is too much for them. They scratch it with a quick and usually wrong answer. This is why people panic sell at the bottom of a market crash. The uncertainty is terrifying. Is it going to zero? Will I lose everything? The brain can't handle it, so it makes the decision sell, just to relieve the tension. It's a terrible financial move, but it feels good psychologically in the moment. This is also why conspiracy theories are so popular. They provide a simple, comprehensive, and certain explanation for a chaotic and uncertain world. The theory might be insane, but it's less uncomfortable than the reality of randomness and complexity. You do this all the time. You make a snap judgment about a new colleague after 5 minutes of conversation. You take one data point and extrapolate it into a massive trend. You rush into a business decision without doing the real, hard, boring work of due diligence because the process of investigation is filled with doubt and ambiguity. You prefer a fast, wrong answer to a slow, right one. Here's the rule. The ability to destroy your own best-loved ideas is a hallmark of a rational mind. You must learn to enjoy the process of being uncertain. See it not as a weakness, but as a position of maximum flexibility and potential. The person who can wait the longest for the right pitch to hit is the one who wins. Your assignment. For the next week, every time you are asked for your opinion on a complex topic, your default answer must be, I don't have enough information to have a strong opinion yet. Feel the discomfort. Sit with it. It's the feeling of your brain getting stronger. And the seventh, final psychological trick. You let hatred and dislike destroy your judgment. This is the disliking and hating tendency. It is the mirror image of the liking tendency, but it can be even more destructive. You will ignore brilliant ideas if they come from someone you dislike. You will distort facts to fit a narrative about a person or group you despise. You will actively harm your own interests just to spite an enemy. This is pure poison for the mind. It makes you blind. It makes you stupid. My partner, Warren, and I have a rule. I will not let myself be cheated out of a good idea just because I don't like the person it came from. The source is irrelevant. Only the quality of the idea matters. I try to be able to state the arguments of my enemies better than they can themselves. Only then do I have the right to disagree. The modern world is a cesspool of this tendency. Look at politics. People are no longer evaluating policies based on their merits. They are evaluating them based on which team proposed them. If their party suggests an idea, it's brilliant. If the other party suggests the exact same idea, it's a catastrophic plan to destroy the nation. This is not thinking. It is tribal warfare, and it prevents any rational problem solving. You are guilty of this. You've dismissed a piece of advice from a coworker because you find them annoying. You've refused to read a book or watch a movie because you dislike the politics of the creator. You have a mental blacklist of people and groups, and you automatically discard any information that comes from them, regardless of its validity. You are letting your emotional revulsion cheat you out of valuable knowledge. You are paying a hate tax on your own intelligence. Here is your final rule, and it is the most difficult. Before you are allowed to disagree with an opinion, you must first be able to state that opinion back to the other person so accurately that they say, yes, thank you. That's exactly what I meant. If you cannot do this, you have not earned the right to have an opinion. You are just reacting, not thinking. Your homework. Find an opinion you passionately disagree with. Now find the most intelligent, articulate person who holds that opinion and read or listen to their argument. Do not debate it in your head. Do not look for flaws. Just try to understand it. Your goal is not to agree. Your goal is to break the mental habit of instant rejection. So there you have it. Social proof, authority, consistency, liking, incentives, doubt avoidance, and hating. These 7 forces are the puppeteers, and most of humanity are the puppets. They are the reason you're not as successful, wealthy, or wise as you could be. Your job is not to be a genius. Your job is to be a little less of an idiot each and every day. Avoiding these pitfalls is the whole game. If you can do it, you won't get rich in 5 years. But in 30 years, you'll be richer, in every sense of the word, than 99% of the people who are currently chasing shortcuts. Most people clicked off this video a long time ago. They went to go look for a hot stock tip or a 5-minute ab workout. That's fine. Let them. The fact that you are still listening means you're serious. It means you understand that the real game is not played on a screen or in the gym. It's played on the 6 inches of real estate between your ears. This is what we do here. No hype, no predictions, no get-rich-quick nonsense, just the timeless principles of rational thinking and avoiding stupidity. If that's what you're looking for, you know what to do. Subscribe. Now, that's enough for me. Go invert.